Welcome to Flanders Game TCG, your home for One Piece TCG content. In this episode, I'll be going over the recent ban lists and what are some potential next steps for all the different decks. I'll be specifically focusing on the three decks of Luffy, Nami, and Sakazuki, as those are the ones that are impacted, and while as I talk along, I'll be opening a box of OP12 so you can see the pulls. Firstly, I think it's quite important to note that there are three different types of bans. There's ban cards, which can't be included into any deck. There's restricted cards, which are restricted in the number of them you can run, that being 1 to 4, or 3 more likely. And then ban pair cards, which we'll be seeing as our first type of ban that's coming up, which a certain combination of cards can't be played together in a deck. So first up, if you haven't seen, it's just important to note that this ban is effective from August 30th, 2025. Even though you'll be finding some stores will be already implementing it. So the first ban that we see coming up in the recent list is for Monkey D. Luffy, and this is the combination ban that we've been mentioned before. This is where certain cards are banned in combination. So this is the recent Katakuri and Lin combo that was run in the Luffy package. The reason that these cards were banned in combination for the Luffy deck is mainly because this deck was designed to have an early game that struggles and then a really oppressive late game as it drops 9 cost of 9 cost using the Sanji package. These allowed us to then gain life and then have permanent blockers that could swing against any opponent, and basically allowed the deck to control the board too easily and mitigate all of its early life it was losing with the Charlotte Lin. I think it's great that they decided to just ban the combination of these, as these two cards are also really useful in a lot of other purple decks, and it felt like if you removed one of these or both of these, you'd be really restricting purple as a whole and a lot of these off meta decks or big mum decks. So I'm glad that they kept them around. An example of what a UP Luffy list could look like now is shown above. The idea of this is to mainly be playing our 8 cost Luffys with our Sanjis, to have that as our rush, and it's a lot more aggressive as a deck. As you can see, we're going to be running both different types of rush Luffys. The 8 cost generally being better, as it allows you to continue to use the leader effect, where if you drop a 9 cost and a Gum Gum Giant throughout the next turn, it'll stop you from reaching that 10 Don at the start of your next turn, so you won't be able to use your leader effect. Also, in terms of removal, instead of the 9 cost Lin, we're running Mihawk, because this allows us to bot deck a 7 cost or lower. This typically can replace it, but obviously we're not going to be getting that life, hence why we're playing a little bit more aggressive. The way I've kind of played this deck so far in the matches I've played is you tend to try and counteract early to try and stop any of those attacks that are coming from any aggressive decks, and essentially build up your board and swing through with all your big bodies. It kind of plays like a faster paced version of what Enel used to play like, where you kind of built a big board and then just got through the life in like 1 or 2 turns. So the next ban we have up is the OPO3040 Nami leader ban. So Nami, this is a deck that's been around for a long time and has the effect that when your deck reaches 0, you win the game. So you don't really try and swing at your opponent's life, and the idea being is that you're trashing lots of cards on the top of your deck to try and win the game using the secondary effect. This deck has always been kind of around and always been receiving a little bit of buff, as whenever Blue released anything that allowed them to draw or trash cards, it always was seen as a possible chance to add into this Nami deck. And in recent times, when the ball gets rolling with this deck, can be kind of unstoppable, as you're not able to swing through and get through those life due to all their counter, and due to the amount of draw, they're kind of always having a big hand size. This has now been restricted to the Nami only being able to be using East Blue cards, and I believe that this has kind of been a bit of an overcorrection. The reason that this ban mainly came out is due to the Otama coming out in the future, which allows you to draw 2 trash 1, which is similar to the old Kaba G effect that we've already had banned for this exact reason. I think with the team deciding to release the block numbers and introduce those in officially now that we're going to be having a rotate out. This Nami ban could have been left potentially later on, or potentially if you're worried about the new Otama coming in, the Otama could have been released as maybe like a promo after the block numbers came out. Or in this case, maybe you just needed to lead a lock Otama or something. The new promo, which allows you to now only use East Blue cards, is quite rough, and when I've tried to make decks around with this, it has been really tough to get any of the effects really going. Beforehand, you'd be getting to like turn 5, 6, and you would already be seeing like a decent amount of your trash as Nami, especially if they're swinging into you. But now it just feels really impossible to really start getting that ball rolling, and you just always feel on the back foot, especially with the amount of control and removal that's going to be coming to the game with Sakazuki unbanned. Sadly, I'm not really going to show a deck for this one, as I'm not a Nami main, and I don't feel like I have the reps to really give a good detail, but from what I hear, it's been pretty rough. So the next ban we have coming up is an actually unban, and this is the OPO5 Sakazuki leader, which has the effect of activate main. Once per turn, you can trash a card from hand to draw a card, and when attacking, you can give an opponent's character -1 cost for the turn. Sakazuki was a powerhouse of its format when it was around and dominated the scene, due to its ability to have aggression using Helm Blaze and having a lot of control with the Navy package and the blue control removal with the bottom decking effects. For this deck, I see it as to be quite a strong deck, and I feel like it's going to be coming back for a solid amount of time, just because there's so much versatility with this leader, and the more they release of black and blue, the stronger this is going to get either way. I have an example deck list below, and this is just a very standard one you might want to start off with. It's mainly focused around that Navy package with a lot of blockers just to protect you from the amount of resting and swinging coming from stuff like Zoro and stuff. And it allows you to have a lot of control using Helm Blaze, Lucci, Brook, and Jozu and Jack to bounce things around, while having a lot of minus cost coming from your Hina Rebecca package, your Kuzans, and your other events like Tempest Kick or Navy HQ. It's also important to note that this deck runs 2 of the Black Vortex. It's a Blackbeard event card, which is a counter that costs 2. It gives you the effect of -4k to your opponent's character or leader and negate their effect. This is especially useful in the Zoro matchup, as it allows you to cancel their leader effect from working as it no longer is applied, or also you can play it on something that has rush or something to remove that effect if someone messes up their sequencing with their attacks. So it's got a lot of versatility in that defense that you're going to need, especially if you really start taking some life against those aggro decks that will be coming in with stuff like Rayleigh. Finally, we can note that Kabaji is now unbanned. This allows you to have, if you have emoji in play, you can have draw 2 cards, trash 1. I don't think this is going to be played in buggy, as it is not a 2k, it isn't a 5 cost, so I feel like for the most part you're not going to have emoji on the board. So I think it's just really going to be left aside from now on. So from here, I'll just be opening the rest of the cards, but I thought I'd just have a big shout out to thank you for all the support for all the viewers and subscribers. Honestly, we recently reached 5k on the total views for the channel, and that is something honestly I never thought that I'd achieve. This is honestly amazing support from everyone, and I say thank you so much. For the future of the channel, I'm going to be looking to try and produce a lot more IRL content, that be either some battles with friends or at locals. Especially I'm wanting to try a format similar to what Eggman's done and what's also been done in Pro Scene and Hearthstone for a long time, where people will rock up with 3 to 4 different decks, one of them get banned, and the idea is to get a win on every single deck. Once you get a win, then you have to move on to the next one. It's quite a nice way to have a little bit of a tournament setting and a best of 3, but also not just seeing the same matchup 3 times in a row. But yeah, apart from that, I'm going to be going away over for the next 3 weeks. So I'll be trying to upload, but if I don't, I'm sorry. But I will be in London and in parts of Spain. So if you know of any locals there, hit me up with their times and everything. I would love to see if I can try and make one, or potentially if I can catch people there. I'm definitely going to be checking out that One Piece store, and you might be seeing a vlog around that. And I'll also be having another booster box opening on the plane ride on the way there. That's the aim. So fingers crossed I can get that filmed. But yeah, apart from that, yeah, thank you again for everyone for subscribing and watching the videos. It means a lot. I hope I can just continue making some more off-meta content for you all. Thank you. And enjoy the rest of the box break.